For real? What? This time, I'm getting closer. Yes! Aha! You know what? I retract what I said about that scene in this scene in Batwoman. Now, if you didn't know already, I said that scene was it's particularly dumb. It's a very CW thing to do, but sorry, even if you're the most jacked guy on this earth, and that wasn't a metahuman, by the way, try get a sword and absolutely slam through. This isn't real metal, but thick, you know, steel barrel-esque, you know, gun metal. I don't need to explain it, but I give it back. I take it back because this just took like what 5 attempts to take out Baby Yoda, and you know, it's very clear that they make the bat tech quite crappy. So you know what, Batwoman? You've got me there. You've got me there. I'll give you that. But ladies and gentlemen, today, yes, I'm here with another Batwoman video. Okay, look, I know there's some of you out there who just get triggered. Look, why, if you don't care about Batwoman, why are you making... Look, I have an opinion. I am a huge Batman fan and Bat Family, an extended Bat Family, if you will, fan. So, I have an opinion on this. So I'm interested in covering it. I'm not doing it like some other channels who just do it all for purely negative attention. And also, I want to give my 2 cents because I genuinely enjoyed episodes 16, 17, and 18. So, like, I was looking forward to the season 2 opener, especially with that cliffhanger. I don't need to justify myself anymore. If you're a hater, just be gone. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen. You saw what happened with Baby Yoda, so... But yeah, let's cut the crap, guys. Today, new Batwoman video because interesting things have been said by Caroline, Dries. In the case of, yeah, you may or may not have known about Kane being recasted for the role of Batwoman. I'm sure you did. Ruby Rose left the show. But it's not just a recasting. We've already made a video about this, but they are literally bringing a new character into the cowl. Now, as I kind of briefly mentioned, I made a video about this the other day, and it was quite unanimous. Not just me, not just other YouTubers, but fans as well are saying, why? Why not just recast? I know there's a bit of an elephant in the room there, but the audience are intelligent enough to understand why you have recast a role. But instead, they've done such a longer route of, you know, hey, let's bring in a whole new character, forsake everything in season 1. And, you know, you only have to think about that for 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 1 minute to kind of understand what I mean there and how the show is set up around Kate Kane. Fans have waited a long time for their Kate Kane Batwoman to come to the screen. A way they could have carried that on is through just recasting the character. We get it, Ruby Rose left. But now you're getting a whole new character in there? Jumping to the point of the video, and I will get into other things as to who Batwoman is apparently eyeing for the new character, Ryan Wilder, and that could just be a casting call name, you know what I mean? But also the introduction of none other than one of Batman's villains, Scarecrow, which is, you know, I've got a whole other thing about that. So yeah, big breakdown video today. So let's get into this. Caroline Dries, who is obviously executive producer on, she's basically the big cheese on Batwoman. So as a lesbian who's been working as a writer for the past 15 years, I'm well aware of the bury your gays trope, and I have no interest in participating in it. That's why it's important to me, as the showrunner, to clarify any misinformation out there about Kate Kane and recasting Batwoman. Now let me just interrupt here for 2 seconds because I did a stupid job at explaining. There were some recent character stuff that came out in terms of like some dialogue and whatnot, inferring that Batwoman might die. People were freaking out saying, okay, so not only are they bringing a new character, but Kate Kane's dying? Now she's here to correct some of that, but a lot of it still remains the same. So like you, I love Kate Kane. Now this is interesting how she says this, and I believe her, but however, you'll see what I mean. She's the reason I wanted to do the show. Okay, if that's the case, we'll never erase her. In fact, her disappearance will be one of the mysteries of season 2. Interesting, I'll give you that. I don't want to give away any of our surprises, but to all our devoted fans, please know that LGBTQ+ justice is at the very core of what Batwoman is, and we have no intention of abandoning that. However, a lot of fans aren't happy with this. Read any reply. Okay, not anyone, there may be some, but like, look, I'm probably screen sharing right now. You aren't doing Kane justice by creating an OC to replace her. You should have just recast. That's the CW's problem. Blah, 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 blah. It's great news that you aren't killing Kate off, but with that said, recasting Kate is just still by far the easiest decision moving forward. And another comment, just recast her. Another comment, just recast her then. Bruce Wayne disappears, Kate Kane disappears, who's next? I made a joke like that just because, you know, it's strange. If they do not want to erase, like, if she loves Kate Kane, she's the reason why you wanted to do the show, and you'll never erase her. Granted, here, she's not talking about Ruby Rose. I'm sure she's spoke big about Ruby Rose, but we're on about the character here. Like you, I love Kate Kane. She's the reason I wanted to do the show. We'll never erase her. And I get where you're coming from, Caroline, here, but it's just like, if you love Kate Kane, and she's the reason why you wanted to do the show, and so many comments are talking about, how difficult is it to just recast? Fans have been waiting for Kate Kane for a long time, which is why they want a recasting. Yes, I understand her analogy of there being this elephant in the room. That can be a bit addressed more through literally bringing somebody else into the couch. It's like, okay, new character. We don't have to pretend this person is Kate Kane. But I think you're really doing a disservice to the show, the character, and to the detriment of just your success in the future through not having the main character. Now, I have said these thoughts in my previous videos, but I'll reiterate them once more. And it's not just me saying this, so let me make that very clear. This has got nothing to do with my frustration or the dislike of the majority of Season 1. It's just the truth, and that is that all of Season 1 is practically irrelevant right now. Even a lot of setup for Season 2 with the Hush storyline, a lot of it is going, I'm sure they're going to try and salvage and, make it relevant to the new plot, but it is literally Season 1.2. Just recast her, it's what people want, listen to your audience, and please do not listen to Greg Berlanti, that goes on, and I'll get into that in a second. Just recast Kate Kane, don't create a whole new character to be Batwoman. You could have just avoided all of this by recasting her. If you throw away Kate Kane, a Jewish lesbian who means so much to me and so many others, I won't be watching Season 2. We fought crazy to support this show, and you're talking, but I get it. Like, why didn't you just recast? Why didn't they do it? Why? Not only are they going to have to go through tremendous effort, like, think about it, they're going to have to forge new storylines, so much mess because it pertained to Ruby Rose's Kate Kane. Bang, recast Kate Kane, all of it remains the same. Why is that so hard to understand? But hey, we can get some insight here because the showrunner also, Caroline, wanted to explain as to how she came to not a recast but an actual character replacement for this Ryan Wilder. And that is because, to be honest with you, I did consider the soap opera version for a hot minute because selfishly we already had a couple of episodes written, and transition-wise it would have been seamless, Dries said of recasting Rose during a Q&A at the ATX festival at home via TV line. But upon further reflection, and I think Greg Berlanti helped me make this call, he's like, I think we should just reboot Batwoman as a different character. And he goes on to say Dries did this as it would respect everything that Ruby Rose put into the character, as well as sidestepping any audience concerns about an elephant in the room. Like, I get what you mean there, but like, no. It would give respect to the character and the show through continuing Kate Kane's legacy. And that's just a huge shame because, I get the issue with Ruby Rose walking away, but I've said in my updated thoughts on the latter of the season that I actually enjoyed that I was looking forward to see where things were going. Now that got ripped away from me and many other fans because Ruby Rose left, but hey, we just thought, okay, we're all recasting. Never did actually think a whole new Batwoman. I still wouldn't be surprised if Ruby Rose did come back, by the way, for a appearance of some sort. However, with the new Batwoman, if they're going to do kind of a flashback scene, because apparently she inspired Ryan Wilder, I'm sure they will use a stand-in to kind of, grapple hook down. I was looking for my grapple hook, but I threw it over there, and just save her or something like that. But let's move on. I know I've been talking about that part for quite a long part of this video, but that is the main point of this video. So then please recast her. Thanks for not killing her, but that's the bare minimum. If you really care about Kate Kane, you would recast her instead of replacing her with an original character. Kate Kane is Batwoman. And that's the last comment I'm going to read out, because that just about says it all. So I've already read this out, but I'll read this out again for those who may or may not know who this new character, this new Batwoman will be very quickly. However, so far her name is Ryan Wilder. Caroline Dries, in that same article, which I will link in the description down below, did go on to affirm that Ryan Wilder is a whole new character who in her past was inspired by Batwoman, so she is going to take on the mantle, adding that the scrappy 20-something who lives in a van with her plant is maybe not the right person at the time to be doing it, so that's what makes it fun. You know, it'd be more fun if you just had Kate Kane on the show. With no one in her life to keep her on track, Ryan spent years as a drug runner, dodging the GCPD and masking her pain with bad habits. Today, reformed and sober Ryan lives in a van with her plant, a girl who would steal milk for an alley cat and could also kill you with her bare hands. Ryan is the most dangerous type of fighter, highly skilled and wildly undisciplined, as an out lesbian, athletic, raw, passionate, fallible, and very much not your stereotypical all-American hero. Look, does that not sound like season 1? Like, if you were just casting, well, not Kate Kane, but a character for a vigilante or something. This is season 1.2, guys. But hey, who could this new Batwoman be? Well, if you watch Riverdale, you may recognize this character. Thank God I do not watch that cringe fest anymore. Look, fair enough if you like it. I liked it once upon a time, but like, hey, this isn't a Riverdale review. But God, I cannot watch that show. But anyway, Vanessa Morgan for the lead character replacement for Ryan as Ryan Wilder. I haven't seen her in anything but Riverdale. In Riverdale, I thought she was okay. She didn't have a huge role. I believe she was like hanging around with Cheryl quite a lot. I think they got into a relationship. How do I feel about it? I don't really have a feeling about it. I don't know how to feel about this potential casting. Just to let you know, this isn't official. However, this website, Cinema Spot, good reputation. I endorse them. The reporter here, Emre Kaya, has been accurate on quite many things in the past. I would still take this with a grain of salt, because you never know. It could turn out to be, because they're just eyeing this person. They could still close the deal with a whole new actress, but for now, assume for now it's going to be Vanessa Morgan, who played, I think, Tony, was it, in Riverdale? Even this article goes on to explain how this idea has caused a lot of backlash amongst fans with reference to the recasting, with some fans stating that they will not be watching Batwoman's second season if Kate Kane is going to get replaced. And see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? It is what it is now, unless they make a miraculous, 180 turn and they're like, okay, we've heard you. We're listening to our fans, our diehard fans of what this, and as Caroline said herself, show was built around, and that is Kate Kane, and we're actually going back to recasting. That's unlikely, and it looks like we are getting a new Batwoman, and I get their excitement for it, because this could be like, for all those who didn't enjoy Batwoman season 1 like myself, let's walk along this road for a second. I enjoyed several episodes, but that is out of a 2019 episode season, and putting aside that Batwoman is Kate Kane for a second, which is hard to put aside, but let's do it. It is an exciting notion that, this could be season 1.2 remastered. It could be everything I like about it, enhanced in every episode. And it might even steal me a lot more, even though I felt like Ruby Rose gained her stride, definitely in the back half of the back half, if that makes sense, 16 onwards. I genuinely was enjoying myself. But hey, that's my optimistic little tingy bit from my head there. But also, there is something, would I say exciting? Would I? I don't know, because apparently Scarecrow could be introduced into Batwoman season 2. So yeah, again, the source for this, Daniel Richman, he is quite creditable source. He is quite the industry insider, so take this with a grain of salt, but especially considering some of the story in season 1 with Scarecrow's fear gas being used, it makes sense. So apparently, according to our contributing insider Daniel Richman, there are plans to introduce Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow, as a villain in season 2, with casting for the role now underway. Scarecrow will be responsible for the murder of Ryan Wilder's mother, which motivates her to want to become Batwoman. Again, take this with a grain of salt, because this well, I guess you would say rumor for now, was released around the time where people thought Kate Kane would die. Caroline, as we've been over, has since said no, she's just going missing, and that's one of the storylines of season 2. I really wouldn't be surprised if Scarecrow comes in. Now, my apprehension of this, and I'm not trying to CW bash, but it is because of the CW. I'm worried about them tackling someone like Scarecrow, because I just don't know if they would do him justice. I'm not saying they do everything in Injustice when it comes to a character, but they don't always nail everything, and obviously being one of Batman's rogues gallery, it makes me apprehensive. At the end of the day, to do Scarecrow, I'm not saying it's insanely hard to do, but you do have a guy in a mask. You know, at the end of the day, I'm sure he'll be out of the mask like Tommy Elliott in Batwoman Season 1. But compared to Hush at the end, I really didn't like the Tommy Elliott portrayal we got in that first episode or second episode compared to the Tommy Elliott we got at the end, which was a lot more interesting. Granted, I didn't like the costume, but it was a lot more, you know, engaging for me. So as for Scarecrow, please don't screw it up, CW. That's all I'm going to say. Please don't. This does lend another interesting note as well in terms of how many people thought that Batwoman would maybe lean on Batman's stuff, which some people would be like, well, duh, this is Gotham City, so why wouldn't Batman's villains be out there? Don't forget that Batwoman is a lot more on the supernatural side of things and does a lot of other things outside just tackling the Riddler and Scarecrow and stuff like that, yet we don't really ever see that. Sure, we had a weird vampire-y episode, but I don't know. I don't really know where my head is at with Scarecrow. It is kind of an exciting, as this website says, development here for the series, I guess, especially. It might make me very engaged if they do it well. Of course it will. If they do it good, I'll be into it. But now we have a new Batwoman doing that. I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. I know this was a long, rambly video. It was more of a, well, yeah, Boba ramble. I understand there's going to be people who are very optimistic about a new character, and I get that. Good for you. And I would love to, you know, for you to share some of your optimism down in the comments. Why not? And like this video if you did enjoy it, because I would really appreciate that. And if you're a Doom Patrol fan, I uploaded a Doom Patrol reaction video. I will be doing a full breakdown, but check out my reaction. That will be at the end card of this video. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat Family, in the next video. Goodbye.